In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this Macra-Weave wall hanging. For this project, you need to know how to do the lark's head knot, the double clove hitch knot, and square knot. I have tutorials for all of these knots in the description below. For today's tutorial, you'll need a dowel or a stick, wool roving, 4mm macrame cord, tape, I use electrical tape, a wide-eyed needle, and fabric glue. The first step is to attach your 20 lengths to the dowel with the lark's head knot. Across the whole first row, do square knots. We're going to continue by doing alternating square knots. To do this, just skip the first 2 cords and then make a square knot. Alternating square knots simply means the second row of square knots is in between the first row of square knots. And continue this across the entire width. The next row will include the first 2 cords again and do the same thing all the way across, and then do another alternating row right underneath. Now I would like to give this wall hanging a bit of an organic look, so I'm going to add square knots in a way that I give it a curvature. I'll maintain the alternating square knot sequence as I do this. Add square knots however you like. You can do your own pattern or you can follow what I'm doing. Attach one end of your 70cm length to the dowel. I use electrical tape because it leaves no residue because we are going to remove this. And we're using this cord as the filler cord to hold it across to make double clove hitches. Take your left cord, the filler cord, lay it over top that first cord, and then do a double clove hitch. By attaching your cord to the dowel, it makes it much easier to do the double clove hitches. And now with your double clove hitches, just follow the outline of the square knots. At the end of the tutorial, I'm going to show you how I hide all these cords. Attach another one of your 70cm lengths to the dowel. Now do another row of double clove hitches down here. You can mimic the shape you've done up here. You can do something completely different. You could mirror the shape up here. I'm going to leave about 2 to 3 inches in between the 2 rows of double clove hitches. I'm going to do alternating square knots down here again. To do this, you need to start at the highest points of your double clove hitches and work your way down. I'm going to start with this section here, and I'm going to do a square knot. And I'll just follow to the right. You want to keep these rows straight coming across here. So now I'm going to count over. I'm going to skip these 4. I'm going to skip these 4. And I'm going to use these 4. And I think what I need to do is alternate below this one. So I'm going to take the 2 right cords of this and these 2 and do a square knot there. I think you can see as we're going along how I did that, so you can line things up in the rows as you go. I want to maintain that alternating look, so I'll go between these 2 knots here. Now we've filled in all that organic part, so I'm just going to keep doing alternating square knot rows down here. I'm going to stop the horizontal square knots now, and I'll add random square knots to create another organic shape. I'm going to start with one here, and I would suggest just do organic shapes how you like. Take one of your 80cm lengths and attach it to the dowel. This is a little bit longer because we're working from a further distance. And just like we did before, do double clove hitches following the organic shape of the square knots. And now do another row of double clove hitches, either mimicking the line above, doing a mirror, or doing something completely different. It's totally up to you. And now we'll do more square knots. I'm going to start here. It's the highest point. It's going to go right across to the right. And now I'll do alternating going back to the left. I'm going to do another square knot here because this is a high point. And then I'll continue this row. And I'm going to do a row across the bottom. I think I'll do one more row across the bottom. So this is pretty much the bottom of the macrame. Now you could do a straight row of double clove hitches across the bottom if you like. I'd like to give the bottom of this macrame an organic shape too, so I'm just going to add a few square knots here and there. And now to your last row of double clove hitches. Before I show you the weaving, I'm going to flip my wall hanging around and show you how I hide all the filler cords. I take the end of the cord, and with my wide-eyed needle, I'm going to thread the ends of the cord through my wide-eyed needle. Pull that through. And then once it's threaded through the needle, I'm going to go one over on my double clove hitches and just pull that cord through the back. I then take some of my fabric glue and I just dab a little glue on the back there. And then I just trim the end of the cord. And that is going to just stay secure there. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing with all of the other cords. So now I'm going to do some sumak weaving throughout this part here. Take lengths of wool roving about 3 to 4 times the width of your piece. I take my one piece of wool roving and I split it into 4. So I just take the middle and I pull it apart, and you just gently pull it all the way to the end. And do the same thing on the other side. And then split each of these in half again. So that one piece is now 4 pieces. Take your piece of wool roving, take it around the back of the first 2 cords, pull it around to the left, and then take the long end over. So it's kind of tucked like that. And this is a sumak weave. Now we're going to skip 2, and then after these 2, we're going to push all the wool roving through the opening, and be gentle with your wool roving as it is a fragile material. And now we're going to pull this back through these 2, the opening there. Just gently pull your wool roving through. Now we're going to skip 2 and then do the same thing. After these 2, put your wool roving through the opening. I'm going to hold onto the tail and I'll pull it back to the left of those 2. Now keep doing the same thing, skipping 2, and then after the next 2, you go behind, wrap around, and come back through on the left side of those. I gently pull these down so they're nice and snug up against this double clove hitch line. And I'll just keep doing that till the other end, and then I'll show you how to turn around. Now we'll go around these last 2. I'm going to go around it a second time. Now I'm going to do the same thing going the other way. Skip these 2, and then to the left of these, I'll go through, and then come right back on the other side of those 2. I find when your wool roving length gets shorter, you can just kind of go behind the left with the end and immediately around the right with the end, and then just pull it gently. And you can see the nice pattern you develop. So just continue doing that. You can see that I'm running out of length, so I'm going to skip these 2, go to the left for this one, just push the cord in, and then just leave it there, and I'm going to show you later how I tuck in the ends at the back. So you tucked your end through here. With your new piece of wool roving, I'm going to go in on the other side of those 2, and just pull it through, leaving a little bit of a tail at the back to tuck in, and then we're just going to continue the pattern, and you won't even notice that you ran out. Now I'm just going to keep repeating this back and forth until this whole area is filled up. So that section's done. And now do the same thing with this lower section. Last but not least, I'm going to cut the fringe, and I'm going to cut it so it follows the curve of the line above. So I'm finding the fringe a little bit too sparse, and I would like it to be a bit longer. I'm taking 70 centimeter lengths folded in half. I'm going to take one end of the cord to the right of the second cord, and the other end of the cord I'm going to keep right on the outside of the left side of that cord, and then both ends are going to go through the middle opening between those 2 cords, and then just pull that down. And you can see how we'll have a double layer of fringe. I'm going to trim that after. So again, one cord folded in half equally. The one end comes on the far right up 2 cords, the other end on the left up the 2 cords, and then take those ends through the middle and pull it back. And I'm just going to do that all the way across the entire wall hanging. And then just cut that second layer of fringe however you like. Now I'm going to turn my wall hanger around and show you how I tuck in the ends of the wool roving. So here's one end of wool roving, and all I do is I pull it and I tuck it in behind a couple cords. Normally I would do it behind 2 sets, but this one's not quite long enough. But that's really all you have to do. I'll show you on another piece. Here's a really long piece of wool roving. I'll go behind these 2 and behind these 2. And then once I've done that, I just cut off the excess. Even though this is the back of the wall hanging, I still like it to look nice and clean. And now just do the same thing with all those loose ends and you're done. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today. If you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments below.